this Advent season of joyful anticipation, I struggle to enter a joyful disposition amid the violence happening in different parts of the world and prevailing unjust structures that keep thousands of people in poverty or subject them to discrimination. I have to ask, how can we enter the season of waiting for and celebrating the coming of Jesus in a way that sees this reality with open eyes and engages it rather than fleeing from it? What do the readings today tell us about living in Christian hope and joy in the face of injustice? The first reading from Isaiah and the psalm taken from the Gospel of Luke express the hope for the fullness of God's reign to break forth, while also proclaiming this inbreaking has begun in Jesus and continues to happen in our lives today. The words in Mary's Magnificat and the prophet Isaiah testify to the inseparability of God's saving work to justice. Scripture scholar Gail Yee notes that Mary's words of joy and praise to God are said in the context of the terrible social conditions in which she lived. Mary is talking about grinding poverty, aching hunger, and acute exploitation by the powerful on their thrones. Like Mary, I invite you to recall how God has been faithful to you and the moments when you have felt the inbreaking of God's reign in your life and the lives of those around you. I know that despair overwhelms me when I fail to remember the moments in my life when I have felt God's loving and guiding presence. Confidence in God, particularly in how deeply we are loved, anchors our cry for and acts of justice. To act justly means bringing glad tidings to the poor and ministering for the healing of the brokenhearted. At the STM, I've been inspired by the students' diverse ministries to people who need healing and accompaniment. As we reflect on how to be better ministers and companions to the poor and marginalized, consider choosing simplicity during this season that can easily be overwhelmed by consumerist culture. Simplicity allows us to see that everything is truly a gift and allows the poor to be more comfortable with us and us with them, so that together we share the glad tidings Jesus brings. Simplicity is a disposition that enables us to have fewer attachments, which prevent us from following Jesus more readily and more closely. During this Advent season, may we, through God's grace, rejoice in the coming of Jesus by living in hope and being bearers of hope by acting justly, that is, seeking and fostering right relationships, especially with the poor and the marginalized.